She entered my room, slowly slipped everything off, and smiled. Like she knew Mikhail sat at his desk staring at the blank screen before him trying to focus on the report. He needed to finish by morning, but his mind kept wandering to the strange events. Over the past few weeks, ever since the Varaxian delegation arrived at the human colony on Kepler 7, everything felt differente. Varaxians were tall, elegant beings with skin that shimmered between shades of deep blue and violet depending on the light. Their eyes were larger than human eyes, with vertical pupils that reminded Kyle of cats. Back on Earth, but it was their grace that unnerved him most, the way they moved like water flowing uphill, defying what seemed natural had been assigned as cultural liaison to one of their diplomats, a woman named Zara, though he suspected that wasn't her real name, but rather something pronounceable for human tongues. She spoke perfect English, with an accent he couldn't place somewhere between French and something entirely alien. Their first meeting had been formal, professional, even cold. Zara had barely looked at him during the initial briefing, her attention focused on the datapad and her long, elegant fingers. Kyle remembered thinking she seemed bored with the whole arrangement, stuck babysitting a human in this backwater colonibit. Something changed after the third week. Kyle started noticing Zara watching him during meetings. Her violet eyes would linger on him when she thought he wasn't looking. Once he caught her staring, and she didn't look away. Instead, she smiled, a slow, knowing smile that made his heart race for reasons he couldn't explain. Colony Director Amanda Brooks had warned him about getting too close to the aliens, but Kyle found himself drawn to Zara in ways that defied logic. Maybe it was curiosity. Maybe it was loneliness this far from Earth. Or maybe it was something else. Entire lit night, he was working late again. The colony headquarters was nearly empty. Most people had returned to their quarters for the evening. Kyle preferred the quiet. It helped him think, or at least it usually did. Door to his office slid open with a soft hiss. Kyle looked up, expecting to see one of the night shift security guards. Making rounds instead, Zara stood in the doorway. She wore the formal Varaxian diplomatic robes, layers of shimmering fabric that caught the light in impossible ways. But as Kyle watched frozen in his chair, she reached up and began unfastening the clasps. "What are you doing?" Kyle managed to ask, though his voice came out rougher than intended. Zara smiled, that same knowing smile. "I think you know exactly what I'm doing." Kyle Harper's robes fell away, and Kyle realized with relief that she wore a simple form-fitting garment underneath, something between a bodysuit and athletic, where the Varaxians valued modesty. In their own way, he had learned, walked toward his desk, moving with that liquid grace that seemed to be natural to her species. "I have been observing you, Kyle, studying your species, trying to understand what makes humans so different from us." "War. Not that different," Kyle said, though he wasn't sure he believed Ito. "But you are." Zara stopped at the edge of his desk, leaning forward. Slightly, her eyes held his, and Kyle found he couldn't look away. "You feel everything so intensely. Love, hate, fear, desire. It radiates from you like heat from a star." Kyle swallowed hard. "Is that why you're here, to study human emotion?" Shara laughed, a sound like wind chimes. "I am here because I find you fascinating, Kyle Harper. From the moment we met, I have wanted to understand you. Understand maze." She moved around the desk. Slowly, deliberately, Kyle remained frozen, unsure what to do, unsure what he wanted to do. "You people are new to the galactic community, young by our standards, and yet you have accomplished so much in such a short time. The Varaxian Council debates whether humans are a threat or an opportunity. And what do you think Kyle Askidi think?" She was close now, close enough that Kyle could smell something like cinnamon and ozone. "I think humans are dangerous and the most wonderful. We dangerous make us feel things we thought we had evolved beyond." Zara reached out and traced a finger along his jawline. Her skin was cool to the touch, but not unpleasant. "You remind us what it means to be." Kyle stood slowly, bringing himself face to face with Zara, though she was taller by several inches. "This is probably against about 100 different protocols." Smiled again. "Protocols are for people who do not understand what truly matter. Sand. What matters? Connection, understanding, passion. These are the things that bridge the gaps between species, not treaties or trade agreement." Skill knew he should step back, should maintain professional distance. Amanda would have his head She found out, but he couldn't move. Couldn't think of anything except the way Zara looked at him like he was the most fascinating thing in the universe. You said you wanted to understand humans, Kyle said, soft-lias. Understand this, we don't do anything halfway. When we feel something, we feel it completely good. Zara whispered, that is exactly what I was hoping to. Hirsch leaned in and Kyle met her halfway. The kiss was electric, strange, and familiar all at once. Her lips were cooler than human lips, but soft, and she tasted like something sweet and spicy at the same time when they finally broke apart, both breathing harder than before. Zara rested her forehead against his. This is new for me, Kyle. You must understand, my people do not form attachments easily. We live for centuries. What is a single human lifetime to Iskall? Felt a pang in his chest at the reminder of their difference, so why risk it? Because Zara pulled back to look him in the eyes. Because in my 300 years of life, I have never felt anything like what I feel when I am near you. Humans burn so brightly, Kyle Harper, perhaps. It is worth burning with you, even if only for a moment. Kyle pulled her close again, forgetting about protocols and consequences and the fact that they came from different worlds. Then let's make this moment. Kanthi stayed like that for what felt like hours, though Kyle knew it was probably only minutes. Eventually they separated, both knowing they couldn't let this go any further. Not yet, not hooray. Should go. Zara said reluctantly, this will cause complexion self-empathy. Worthwhile, as Kyle replied, smiled, and began gathering her discarded robes. Will I see you tomorrow? Kyle nodded. Every day. If you'll let Meth in every day, it shall be. Zara paused at the door and looked back at him. Kyle Harper, I think you humans have a saying about this, Watts, that I think I am falling for you. She said the words carefully, as if testing them out. Kyle grinned. Yeah, we say that. And Zara, for what it's worth, am falling too good. She slipped out the door, leaving Kyle alone with his thoughts and his racing hearth. Next morning, Kyle arrived at the morning briefing to find Amanda waiting for him with her arms crossed. Heard you had a late-night visitor. News travels fast, Kyle, muttered Donda. Sighed. Do you have any idea how complicated this could get? The Varaxian delegation is here for 3 more months. If this goes badly, it could damage human-Varaxian relations for decades. Kyle countered, it could strengthen them, show that we're capable of genuine connection beyond just politics. Amanda rubbed her temples. You're giving me a headache. But fine, just be careful. The Varaxians don't see relationships the way we do. I know, Kyle said softly. But maybe that's exactly why this matters. Days that followed established a routine. Kyle and Zara continued their official duties during the day, maintaining professional distance, but every evening after the rest of the staff had gone home, Zara would come to his office and they would talk for hours, told him about Varaxian culture, about the centuries-old conflicts that had shaped her, people's philosophy about the day she decided to become a diplomat instead of following her family's military tradition, shared stories of Earth, of growing up in New Seattle before the colony ships launched, of his sister Claire who had stayed behind and who he missed every single day. Way are not so different after all. Zara observed one evening they were sitting close on the small couch in his office, her head resting on his shoulder. Both of you and I, we chose paths that disappointed our families because we believed in something greater. Kyle smiled. I never thought of it that way. Thought is because humans rarely see yourselves clearly. You are too busy rushing forward to the next thing to stop and reflect, and Varaxians reflect perhaps too much. Zara lifted her head to look at him. We spend so long considering every angle that sometimes we forget to simply act. Your impulsiveness, Kyle, it terrifies and thrills me in equal measure. Mabe, you need a little impulsiveness in your life. Kyle suggested her haps. Zara kissed him softly. I am 300 years old, Kyle, and yet with you, I feel young again, reckless. Even it is intoxicating. Weeks continued, and their connection deepened. Kyle found himself learning the Varaxian language, staying up late to study the complex syntax and tonal variations. Zara was delighted and began teaching him properly, correcting his pronunciation with patient amusement. Your accent is terrible, she teased, but I find it endearing. Kyle practiced daily and slowly began to improve. He even surprised her one evening by greeting her in flawless Varaxian. Zara blinked in genuine shock. You have been studying every night after you leave? Kyle admitted, I wanted to understand your world better. Took his hands in hers. No one has ever done something like this for me. Kyle Harper, you continue to surprise. Megud. Kyle grinned. I like keeping you on your toes. That is a strange human expression, but I understand. The sentiment. Zara became serious there. Is something I must tell you. Kyle felt his stomach tighten. What is it? Delegation will be departing in 2 weeks. The Varaxian Council has made their decision about formalizing relations with humanity and TH.